It is Ren Carruthers. It's Friday, and this is your Future Stars Friday Forecast Follow-Up Edition. And I have on the phone Simon Callaghan, trainer of Donna Veloce. She is your 4-5 favorite in tomorrow's Starlet at Los Alamitos. She put in a game second-place finish last out in the Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies. Tell me what you thought of that performance, because I thought it was exceptional.
Yeah, we were really happy with the race. I mean, certainly extremely proud of her effort. Although she didn't win, I thought she ran a fantastic race. And like you said, she was extremely game and just got run out of it in the finish. But no, we were certainly very happy.
Well, we got to see some versatility. I mean, this was only the second start of her career, and she came very close to making history in becoming the first filly to ever win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies off just a maiden win. So, she had a 91 buyer for her debut. And you've said in the past that you're not somebody who's necessarily looking to have their juveniles win first out. So she just is obviously an exceptional talent, and we saw her in that debut. You take them essentially from gate to wire. She won by 9 1/4 lengths. And in the juvenile fillies, we saw the versatility of the ability to rate, which speaks very highly of her mind. What do you think we can expect to see here in the Starlet? We've got this long stretch, 1,380 feet.
Like you said, she's got a fantastic mind, and she really is very versatile. So, she's got natural speed, so she'll be probably forwardly placed, but, she can rate off, she can sit outside her horses, she can pretty much relax wherever. So, that's the beauty, of this filly. So, we'll just play the break and leave it to Flavian, but, he knows the filly really well, and he knows that she's got all the right traits to be tactical, depending on how the race shapes up.
Well, it's pretty exciting. One of the other fillies in this race is Like Her by Uncle Mo. We talk about the pedigree extensively ahead of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. For those who aren't as familiar or didn't hear about it, this filly, Donna Veloce, and Bass as well, are daughters of Uncle Mo. Uncle Mo was your 2010 Eclipse champion 2-year-old. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And, on the bottom side, this filly's just got tremendous pedigree, because not only does she have that there as being, credentials for juvenile ability that can also go into a 3-year-old season, but her dam is by Montjou. We talked about this at the barn, and how you remember him winning the Arc, and you get that stamina from him.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he was actually a brilliant racehorse, one that I really have fond memories of watching. He had a huge turn of foot.
Yeah.
He really stayed well. He definitely had good stamina as well. He just relaxed and really kicked at the end. So, it was when we first bought the filly, we thought that was pretty exciting combination, Uncle Mo, and, we hoped that this filly would have the brilliance that Montjou had himself. So, it's certainly, like you said, I think the pedigree that this filly should go on and improve as a 3-year-old, and hopefully just keep getting better.
Well, and the other thing I really do love about her pedigree is just, all the great black type, because 1999 is the year in which Montjou won the Arc. That was a big year for this filly's pedigree. Her grandmother, Cash Run, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies that year, and Cash Run's half-brother, Forestry, was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. So you have these horses, in this filly's pedigree, run at the top of their game, and then go on to be productive in the shed. So it's already exciting from that perspective. And then this is the filly also. I posted a photo of her. She's so sweet. The temperament on top of everything else, the ability, the mindset, and just a very sweet temperament. We talked about that too. Can you tell our viewers, what struck you about how she handles herself at the barn?
Yeah, I mean, she's got such a good disposition. Everything she does, she acts as if she's done it 100 times before. Even yesterday when we paddock scored her, she was super calm, collected. And everything she's done, and that was, I think, a big thing going into the Breeders' Cup. Some fillies on their second start, when they know what it's all about, and then in the atmosphere of the Breeders' Cup, they can get a little hot, they can get a bit flustered, and this filly, just acted like a older, seasoned mare, and it's something you can't really instill in them. It's something that they either have or they haven't. And this filly was certainly blessed with a lot of class, and that certainly makes my job a lot easier.
Well, when I have to admit, I was covered bet-wise. I had Donna on my ticket as well as British Idiom. Not that either were prices. Obviously, you were favored, and British Idiom was second choice that day. But as they were fighting to the stretch, I have so many friends in this industry now. I'm happy for whomever wins, but I have to admit, I'm rooting for Donna. And when she dug in to fight back against this filly who had more starts under the girth, it was really exciting. What were you thinking as they were coming down the stretch like that?
Yeah, we could see she was going to run a big race for sure. Like you said, she really engaged, dug in, and showed some guts. And I thought she was going to do it at one point. I think the one hole was a little bit of inconvenience for her, but Flavien did a good job to get her outside, and the track was super deep that day, and I just feel that the stamina reserves on a second ever race were really tested, and like I said, she ran great, and we weren't disappointed in her effort one bit.
How did she come out of the race? How was she feeling the next day?
Yeah, she came out of it really good. You could tell she had initially had a race. It was a tough race for sure, but within a few days she bounced straight out of it really well. She ate great, and showed some good energy since, and in between then and now she's done everything you kind of like to see. She's had three works. They've all gone kind of really smoothly.
Yes.
She's only had 2 races, so we felt that having one more as a 2-year-old was within her compass, and she's done everything you'd kind of like to see in between then and now.
So with the Starlet, irrespective, if she had won the Juvenile Fillies, would you still have had the Starlet on the radar then?
I don't know. Obviously, grade 1s are very important for for any horse, but specifically fillies.
Yes.
Possibly if she had won, we might not have. But look, it's really her telling us that she's doing everything, showing really good signs of energy, and she's ready for this. And win, lose or draw after this race, we will give her some time off, and we'll probably bring her back as her next race in March sometime.
And heading into the Kentucky Oaks Trail, now she picked up 8 points. Running second in the Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies, and it's exciting to see what this filly is going to do. That pedigree again, it's just so good. In fact, for the real pedigree nerds out there like me, this filly's female family trails to Miss Dogwood. This is the female family of Mr. Prospector, so it's pretty exciting from that perspective. So you're the 4-5 favorite. Do you feel added pressure being odds on the morning line?
There's always a bit of added pressure, but I think with what this filly's shown so far, the expectations, in this race were always going to be extremely high. Mm-hmm. But we've been there before, and we know what that's like. So that's we'll just hope for a safe trip and a safe race, and hopefully we are lucky enough to be able to win.
Oh, sounds exciting. I got to also another shout out to Jamie Spencer, by the way. I doubt you're watching, but if for some reason you hear about this, thanks again, because for those of you who don't know, we were filming ahead of the Breeders Cup Future Stars Friday card, and there was a mix-up where I forgot to tell my camera guy I was going to meet him at the barn there at 10:30 in the morning, and Jamie Spencer, he filled in as cameraman for us. And that was pretty insane for me. Champion jockey, steady hands, right? But yeah, you had a huge Breeders' Cup, because not only did Donna run second, but you also had Bellafina put in A tremendous performance. I think she got 105 Bayer. I think that's the best of her career. Running second to Kafefe. She got within 3/4 of a length of her in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. How rewarding is it for you to see this filly who showed so much promise at 2 years old? In fact, she ran on the Breeders' Cup Future Stars Friday card. I believe she was 4th in the Juvenile Fillies. She came back with the first 3 starts of her 3-year-old season, and now this year throws down against one of the best sprinters we have.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, she ran an absolute, fantastic race. It's always frustrating to get so close without winning, but, she ran a great race, and, I've always felt that 7/8 is what she really wants to do, that one turn. We stretched around. She did win two grade ones going long, but, I always felt that this distance would be, her optimum, and it's going to be an exciting season with her moving forward, and we'll be aiming at all the top grade 1 7/8 sprint races.
Now, I thought that was really exciting just to see her coming down the middle of the track like that, closing so fast. And again, she too, like Donna Veloce, owned by Kaleem Shaw, so it's extra fun to have that connection on both fillies, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. Kaleem's been a good supporter of mine, and it's rewarding to get two such high quality, fillies for him, and hopefully we can continue to have some good success together.
Well, speaking of high quality fillies, you had Moonshine Memories, and I just saw that she is in full to Justify.
Yes, that's correct.
How cool is that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, that's the great thing with, with Coolmore. They breed to the best, and they're exactly the type of fillies that they're looking for. And, I think she should produce something very good. She was a very precocious, fast, and talented filly as well. So we certainly be looking forward to the Justify out of Moonshine Memories.
And how's Firing Line doing? You keep tabs?
Firing Line, yeah, he's a Crestwood, and he's throwing some really good-looking, good-bodied horses, and I think I've got a couple coming my way, so exciting to have some Firing Lines in the barn.
Oh, that has to be a lot of fun for you to get the progeny of a horse that took you to such great heights.
That's right. It's going to be the first, sons of a stallion that I've trained, so it's, time goes by pretty quick. It's amazing, but
well, you've got the pedigree. You've got the pedigree too. For those of you who don't know, Simon, I mean, he grew up in Newmarket, and your father, Neville Callaghan, speaking of sires, he trained Danehill Dancer, who's gone on to be a sire of sires with Choicer and Master Craftsman. How cool is it for you to see that connection with horses that now you've got Firing Line going, and these fillies will be going to the shed. Is there something that makes you feel even more woven in the tapestry of these thoroughbreds?
No, for sure. It's really rewarding. It's kind of what we do it for, and there's definitely, it's just really exciting to be getting, to see what they can do, and hopefully getting some good ones to train. It's like you said, it really kind of instills you into the, into the industry, and it's fun and exciting.
Well, I would have to ask you, because I think it's really interesting. I mean, you worked, under your father. You've ridden. You've worked under Todd Pletcher. What is the best advice you've gotten along the way, and what have you carried over from the training practices in Europe to here?
It's like anything in life. You've got to work really hard, but I think it's subconsciously as you pick up so many small things, little traits from different trainers, and you just kind of put your own spin on it, and put it together, and it's certainly there's so many people that go into it. People that help me buy the horses, and all the staff, and it's nice when we can put it together and win some big races.
And I have to ask this, because you are still so young. What's it like to have this much success at such a young age?
Well, it's it's a little bit stressful at times, but it's just gratifying and it's certainly, when I speak to my dad pretty much every day, it's, something that, you just got to keep grounded, keep working hard, and keep looking for that next, top horse, and that's pretty much what we try and do. I mean, it's, looking for those grade one horses, wherever they may be at different sales. You just have to keep working, keep looking for the next one, and let's hope there's some more to come around the corner.
Exactly. No resting on those laurels. But you definitely have a grade one star heading into tomorrow's Starlet. I'm totally biased. I'm going to be rooting for her. So we're gonna, be so excited to see what this filly does tomorrow and going into 2020. And I want to thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us. And we wish you the best of luck.
No worries, and thank you so much. Good talking to you.
Thank you so much, Simon.
Bye.
Now, this has been your Future Stars Friday forecast follow-up edition. Again, tomorrow at Los Alamitos, race 7. That is the Starlet, featuring your 4 to 5 favorite, Donna Veloce. Not to be forgotten, you've got Bast in there as well. A very nice filly for Bob Baffert. She is just one of his entries. He also has Gingham in the race. We're also going to see some other horses coming out of the Future Stars Friday card running tomorrow, because you also have Ano Dior, who was second to Storm the Court in the TVG Juvenile, running in the Los Alfaturity, as well as Wrecking Crew. And then over at Tampa Bay Downs, you have 260 for Mark Cassie. She's coming out of the Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies. She set the pace early and then faded, but she's at 2 to 1, I believe, on the morning line over there for the Sandpiper Stakes. And in the inaugural, Contessa has a son of American Pharaoh, who was third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. That is another miracle. We'll see if he can pick up another stakes win. He won the Skidmore Stakes. Again, this has been your Future Stars Friday forecast follow-up edition, and we'll see you next week.